Imagine a future kitchen. There's stainless steel pots everywhere. They're all non-stick. Perfectly kept rows of spices, not a speck of dust or a stain out of order, an appliance for every single stage of preparation designed to help one busy person cook 3-course meals for 20 people at once with minimal fuss and washing up, and a flawlessly silent dishwasher. It's as if no labor goes into the meal at all, before or after. That's not the future I come from, by the way. It's like, this is not an advertisement. Also, that kitchen sounds terrible. I'm here to tell you about my auntie's kitchen, which she runs as smoothly as she can, and it's still a hot mess of people running in and out, and there's ingredients everywhere, and there's the occasional spill, and there's hot water steaming everywhere, and hot oil spraying on careless people, sometimes me. And then my auntie is yelling in the background about missing ingredients and policies and minutes to the last Congress meeting, because my auntie is the president of the United Nations of America, and her kitchen is the seat of government, which is where everybody from the past gets hung up on. I've done so many of these time travel transmissions, and this is the number one thing that folks can't seem to get on board with, except for certain subsets of people, and I hope I'm talking to the right group here. So hi! I'm not going to tell you what year I'm from, but it's really close, and it just feels very far because, stuff. Also, sometimes because time and history can get really weird and the time streams get disrupted during these transmissions, so we're not actually allowed to tell you what year it is, because in case people freak out and then whatever time I'm in gets displaced. And anyways, the laws of time, space, physics are not important right now. The important thing is I'm here to tell you about my auntie, the President of the United Nations of America, and her kitchen. You see, where I come from, when I come from, we pick our presidential candidates based on some very important policy approaches, such as how they will improve on the many coexisting food distribution networks, their kitchen budgets, and their best recipe. My auntie explained it to me like this. She said like this: in the kitchen, your job is to feed everyone. Make sure they are full. If got leftovers, very good. Means everyone is full. If not, it's okay lah. See what I say? How to feed everyone? You make sure you have all the ingredients, enough to make sure all your supply line is as efficient as possible. And then her lecture launches off into, how like every farm worker has to have everything they need to do the best in the field, like fair wages and proper housing and good work conditions, which is the Department of Labor's problem, which is also the president's problem. And that also means that all roads between any metro areas and agricultural and food production areas have to be properly maintained, which is the Department of Transportation's problem, which is also the president's problem. And that also means you need good regulation policies to make sure no food is wasted and thrown away, and every single neighborhood has a fair shot at getting good and fresh ingredients, which is the Department of Consumer Affairs problem, which is also the president's problem. And as you know, aunties like to make everything their problem, which is why my auntie joins a proud tradition of aunties in the Grand National Kitchen, which I think you are still calling the White House right now, which is weird, because the heart of the home is the kitchen, and the heart of the country should also be a kitchen. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. There is mad drama happening every day in the national kitchen, I swear. It's like no one can agree on anything. It's like, they're arguing all the time about import tariffs between the different nations and synthetic meat regulations and like where to source the best ingredients for the Thanksgiving tamale and nutrition education program rollouts and on and on. And any program rollout takes so many tries. Like, how you have a recipe and you want to change it, but you have to experiment with the ingredients over and over and make sure it's edible at your table. Otherwise, you're gonna be super embarrassed. Or you have like a long time family recipe, but all of a sudden someone in the family has an allergy. So you've got to figure out good substitutes. Otherwise, it could get super lethal. And it's the Grand National Kitchen's job to make sure everyone in all the nations is eating well. So everyone who is tasked with any government job needs training in things like scientific fields, like nutrition, or economic fields, like logistics planning. So, basically all the skills that anybody develops over the course of running a kitchen. So the philosophy of the Grand National Kitchen is that you don't have to like someone to want to make sure that they're properly fed. It's a point of pride that someone you don't like is still satisfied with your cooking. That's how you know you've done a good job. I know that in your time, you have some problems with people who think that starving is okay and somehow anybody deserves it. I personally don't understand it. It's obvious that whoever is sitting in your government right now has never worked in a kitchen and has never served food in their lives to people who matter, which is everybody other than themselves. That's what it means to be a public servant. You cook and feed the people. I mean, sometimes I just can't believe. Hello? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. The space-time tunnel is starting to crash, so one last thing. We do these transmissions to promise a better world ahead for everyone. You can do it. Where I am, when I am, you did do it, okay? Believe in the future you want, and I'll see you there. Thanks.